Hi, I'm Jonah Essers with the Tummy Handbook. Welcome back to my series of videos on food allergies in infants and toddlers. In previous videos, we've discussed terminology around food allergies, signs and symptoms, how to troubleshoot breastfeeding, how to troubleshoot hypoallergenic formula, when to consider allergy testing, and how strict to be with your food elimination. In this video, I'd like to talk about how to know whether your food elimination is helping. I'd like to give you some tips on how to succeed the first time around. And the trouble here is that a lot of children manifest food allergies in a delayed fashion, which is to say it takes days or weeks of a food exposure before you start to see signs of food allergy. And that makes it really hard for families to track in real time how things are going as they change the diet. And part of that is because when you remove a food, the immune system really takes time to stop overreacting, and only then will you start to see improvement in your child. So here are a few tips on how to succeed with your food elimination and how to know whether you are actually succeeding. So first is make one change at a time. Only remove one, maybe two foods at any given moment. Because if we're asking you to track this over time, you're never going to know what foods are working or not working if you do many foods all at the same time. Next would be to do each one of these food eliminations for at least a few weeks so that you actually can feel confident that you have or have not seen an improvement. Next, a lot of people find value in keeping a food journal or food diary. And let's face it, the food allergy in your child is just one of the many things going on in your life right now, and a lot of people don't have the bandwidth to really track in their brain what is happening. So you can use a journal to track what foods you gave your child, what the diet was, and also what types of symptoms you're seeing on any given day. That way, if we're looking for subtle changes or trends as a response, you can look back over several weeks and notice whether your child is improving or not. And then lastly, make sure you're tracking objective and quantifiable signs and symptoms. For example, you might want to track the volumes of feeds for your child. You may want to track whether the rash improved. Did the mucus or the blood go away from the stool? What was the frequency and the volume of the vomiting? And then lastly, did the weight gain improve? These are all things that you can track and quantify. And I'd like to discourage you from heavily tracking the subjective signs and symptoms that are often soft and may be related to other issues that have nothing to do with the allergy. For example, fussiness, gassiness, and trouble sleeping. And then lastly, I want to just discuss the fact that there may be multiple caregivers in your house. And I often see that multiple caregivers will disagree on whether there's an improvement. So one parent might say after 2 weeks of a food elimination, I think my child's getting better, and the other parent might say, I'm not so sure I'm seeing anything. So if you're not getting consistent agreement across the caregivers, you may want to consider doing the food elimination for another few weeks, which often allows families to feel more confident that they are or are not seeing an improvement with that food elimination. I often like to joke that I'm 10% marriage counselor with food allergies because we often have to break the tie when parents disagree. So if you are disagreeing, make sure you take a little bit longer with your food elimination. Thanks for watching, and as always, please leave me a comment below if you have any questions about any of my videos, and you can check out my Instagram account if you want to learn more about me. Thanks again.